Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM and ArrowFM. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hello.
Raw. Where do we start? Let's start with Elias, because once again, he's one of my favorite parts of Raw.
The guy is a perfect heel. He would have worked in any era and would have gotten people to hate him so much.
I can't hate. Well, sorry. I can hate the dude quite easily. I can't hate like his work ethic, what he does. The dude is great at it.
Um, and it looks like he's about to get a feud with a champion.
I
We've
think
been
you
begging
mean
for that.
he's about to get a championship.
I hope so. I would love Elias with the championship. In all honesty, his gimmick would have been perfection for Money in the Bank.
Yep.
But he wasn't in the match. He's not in the match, so let's give him a piece of gold on a white strap.
I'm very happy with anything going Elias's way. I think when you look at someone like Seth Rollins, it's the guy's going to be a star no matter what. He's already had a whole bunch of huge moments. Let's give Elias something. The guy's star shines no matter who you put him up against.
Yeah, I said that I felt Elias would be perfect for taking the Intercontinental title off of Seth when you're ready to move it off him.
Hmm.
And if that occurs at Money in the Bank, then that occurs at Money in the Bank, and we have Seth as head towards bigger and brighter things.
From what I can tell, the match isn't official yet, but I'm going to assume that it will be official by Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I would assume so too, especially after the guitar shot, which I called before it happened. The moment that Elias left the ring, I said that guitar's getting broken tonight,
Of course.
and it got broken in quite the amazing way.
I love that there's a video they put up of Elias wishes Seth Rollins a happy birthday, and the thumbnail is just perfect. It's just Elias smug as hell, spiking the camera, holding up the Buster guitar, and it's like this man is just pure charisma. I want to bottle him up and sell it.
And who would have thought that when he just wandered randomly onto Raw in the last year?
Yeah, I'd hoped it from seeing his NXT stuff, but I
I
didn't expect it.
I hadn't seen much of his NXT stuff, so I didn't know
Hmm.
anything. But there were a lot of people like, why are they calling him up
Yeah.
and stuff? And I'm like, well, let's see what they do. It worked with his gimmick apparently because he just drifted on the Raw.
He was such a
And
slow burn as well.
yeah,
It wasn't, oh my god, here's Elias, and now he's in the main event picture and all this. It was slow. Dude just appeared here and there. Came out, did a song here and there. Now a match here and there. Worked his way up the card. Got opportunities in, I think he was in Elimination Chamber. It just built his way up. I feel like it's the most organic thing that couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
outside of Braun Strowman.
Outside of Braun Strowman. I'll give you both of them. To me, they're the two success stories as of late in terms of building up new stars. Post-Shield era. I'm skimming other people and I'm thinking, guys like Kevin, Sammy, Finn, these guys already had histories coming in.
Yeah, well, in the case of Elias and Braun, they you just hit the nail on the head.
Mm.
They didn't have histories because they weren't independent wrestlers, or at the very least, they weren't very well known.
Yeah.
Maybe in Elias's case,
As I quickly Google.
they're basically homegrown talent.
He did Independent Circuit, but his Wikipedia page for that is 2 lines.
So, there's literally so they were literally homegrown talent,
Mm.
and that's why you had to quantify that with
Yeah, yeah.
with that statement was that they didn't have any outside recognition because they were signed, especially Braun when Braun was signed, it was like it's just another big guy. It's for Vince's fetish, yada yada yada. 3 years later, and he's arguably the top star in the company.
Yeah. It took him, I'm looking here, he was signed in early 2013. and then debuted on Raw in 2015 August. And I'm pretty sure even when he debuted, most people were not that high on him.
No, that was back when he was with the Wyatt family.
Mm.
When that was on SmackDown.
I feel like people didn't really get behind him. I think even after he broke from the Wyatt family and had his undefeated streak, people weren't really behind him. It took them quite a while.
Until the Last Man Standing match and stuff that he did with Sammy.
Mm.
That was when people started realizing what a talent he was in the ring with his ability, and then slowly began to work with Roman, and that got him really over to the next level.
Yep.
But of course, Roman's not over, so how could somebody get over on him?
Of course. It wasn't Roman, it was the flipping vehicles.
Yeah.
You forget that. But yeah, I loved everything, and it's great to see it pay off for both of these guys. Completely different paths, but they're both there. Both doing well. Braun, he's dealing with Finn at the moment?
Off and on, I guess. I don't know. I'm
assuming we're just stalling until the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, kind of. Braun's definitely looking way too strong for me to keep my pick on for him as the winner. I'm backing off, and I'm backing a different horse.
Oh, the change! You never change.
Oh, I do. Just but the horse I'm taking is kind of obvious.
Oh, you're
it's
gonna
on
take the Miz
SmackDown
one?
side.
Oh,
so
yeah. We'll talk about Miz when we get there. Yeah, I think everybody at the moment who's already got a match set for Money in the Bank is just in slow mode, just waiting, because there was such a gap between the shows. Like, there's still 2 more weeks of full weeks of wrestling content before Money in the Bank, but 8 of the matches are already set. We already know what we're going to do. We just gotta get there slowly. Nia Jax, Ronda Rousey, we're building them up.
And I had a giant why moment here, because they seem to have turned Nia heel, doing the exact stuff that was in the feud with Alexa.
Yep. They turned her right into being the biggest hypocrite in the world.
All they did was prove that the moments of bliss were actually true.
I need Alexa Bliss to come out now and be like, I told you all. I need that moment in my life. But yeah, I'm gonna ignore all of that, and I'm just gonna move in and cross my fingers that Rousey has a good match. I think we've discussed what we believe is gonna happen in that match beyond no end. So we'll talk about the other women's division a lot instead. There was a gauntlet match for the last spot in the Money in the Bank match.
Wrong winner!
Well, let's get there, okay? So Bayley beats Liv Morgan, and then I believe Bayley beats Sarah Logan, and then Liv Morgan
she beat Liv Morgan.
Beat her
She beat
up.
Yeah. She beat Liv Morgan in like 5 seconds.
She was choking on her Jolly Rancher.
And Sarah Logan lasted like 1 minute. It wasn't much longer.
It's an improvement.
And then they beat the crap out of Bayley, and Bayley fell to Ruby Riott, who somehow magically got 2, 3, and 4 in the gauntlet.
Yeah. And then Ruby was able to knock off Mickie James, and I believe that left us with our last 2.
You forgot Dana.
I forgot Dana because she is in 2 seconds of this clip in YouTube. So Dana happened, just like Liv and Sarah happened. They were not the focal point.
Yeah, and then Sasha Banks wins, and I'm like, no, that's the wrong pick. Ruby was clearly the one that should have won.
Remember how we were talking last week about how obvious it was that Ruby was going to win? How it makes so much sense? Yeah. They just can't make sense.
Anything to keep the Bayley-Sasha feud from actually happening, I guess.
Yeah. the only thing I can see now, and it is a Dolph Ziggler's chance in hell, is Bayley attacking Sasha before the match so she doesn't enter it. But at this
They'll
point, I don't
probably,
know who's meant to be good and bad.
yeah. It'll probably be a case like Bray Wyatt preventing Rowan from winning the Money in the Bank a few years ago.
Yeah. We'll see. As you said, Ruby Riott just made so much sense. It's slotted in better. The alignments of everyone in the match fit better. It would let Bayley Sasha finish the goddamn feud.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, and I was sitting there like, well, I know Ruby's going to win, or Ruby should win. But I've got this little flag over here that's like for a 1% chance of for Dana winning. Because that would just be awesome to me. But, it didn't happen.
No. Sammy versus Bobby. We got a match. No more shenanigans. Except for the next 2 weeks before Money in the Bank itself. But once that rolls around, no more shenanigans. And that's the only comments we have on that match. So, last up, we got the B Team's Memorial Day Tag Team Barbecue.
Oh, what fun. What fun is the B Team.
Food fights are never not fun, right?
Yeah, the only thing missing was somebody throwing a pie at Kevin Owens. That was the only thing missing.
Fair enough. Yeah, the B Team still on a roll. I'm gonna count it. But there's going
Apparently,
to be
the script for this segment got leaked too.
Oh, okay. Well, what the script didn't get leaked for is next week's Tag Team Battle Royal.
Woo. Which hopefully will be won by the B Team.
B Team. Better win it. And on this side of the song, we're going to chat about it because the Cruiserweights are technically Raw superstars. I remember this rule that was made up. 205 Live, Cedric Alexander versus Buddy Murphy, WWE Cruiserweight Championship.
It apparently was a really, really good match.
I've heard nothing but great things. I'm looking here. It looks like 205 matches normally get about 50k views on YouTube. They're already at 200k. And everything I'm seeing is people ranting and raving and saying, get out there and watch this match. And I feel like this has happened a few times on the Cruiserweight, especially on 205 Live. And honestly, I think the matches I remember it being so well received were Cedric and Buddy matches. Not Cedric versus Buddy, but matches that one of them was in. So I hope we get to see this match again. Maybe with a different outcome?
I'm surprised. I'm literally surprised that Buddy did not win the title, especially since they were in Charlotte, North Carolina, the hometown of Cedric Alexander.
I was disappointed. You promised me that Buddy would win, and then Buddy didn't win.
Well, I said I thought he was going to win.
I was shattered.
Because of the hometown rule. And to be fair, unless your name was Naomi, you weren't winning at home.
We were this close to playing Buddy Murphy's theme.
Maybe in 2 weeks at the Royal Rumble when they realize, well, let's put the Cruiserweight Division Championship on the pre-show.
Of course it'll be on the pre-show. Can't be on the main card. Fingers crossed.
Because we have to remember that the Cruiserweight Division actually exists.
I'd like to point out that was fingers crossed for the match happening, not fingers crossed for the pre-show. Right, well, since Buddy lost, we gotta play Cedric's theme. Sadly, should have been Buddy's theme. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM and ArrowFM. Grady and Josh. We're on the other side of the song. That means it's SmackDown time. Let's just get straight to Money in the Bank consequences. Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe.
They had a pretty good promo at the beginning. And then Cass came out.
Mm-hmm.
And everything went downhill from there.
Yep.
I did not like Cass's promo on it. And I didn't like, I loved everything Cass has done to this point. But it was just the weakest that I've seen him. And then there was the whole problem with his injury, quotation marks, and him walking up the stairs, which should not have been possible with the type of injury that he was supposed to have had.
Yeah.
And just things just deteriorated quickly. And then, of course, as expected, he got inserted into the main event, so we didn't get Joe versus Daniel Bryan 1-on-1, as we were looking forward to.
I know. So disappointing.
And then at the end of the night, Daniel Bryan got put to sleep.
He got put to sleep faster than the crowd when Big Cass got on the microphone. Boom! It was still the ending in terms of Money in the Bank consequences that everybody expected.
Yeah. And so with Joe being in the match, I am going to predict
the Miz wins.
Yeah, well, that's separate from this prediction.
Oh, okay.
This prediction is the member of the New Day.
Okay.
I'm predicting Xavier Woods.
You've been wanting him. Now you're picking him.
Yep, I'm picking him. It makes sense, and you don't want, with Braun and Samoa Joe in the match, you don't need Big E, because that just makes too many big guys in the match.
You've also got Kevin and Rusev.
Yeah, so you're going to need and I hate that I'm going to use this term, a spot monkey in the match.
Yep.
So you're going to need either Kofi or Xavier Woods. And Xavier Woods has been shining more and more the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Last few weeks. Especially since the Superstar shakeup. And so I feel like they're going to put him in the match. And let him shine. And let him be thrown around by the big guys and do things. Because if Kofi was going in the match, then you'd probably have a chance of actually winning it. Whereas with Xavier Woods, I don't think he would have a chance to win it. That's why I want him in it, just so that he gets the moment to shine. He can do some things, shows that he can be a single person, and things like that.
I can see where that's going. As much as I would love to see Big E in it, it is just another big guy. So we'll see. I would like to point out here, if you heard the little pating of Josh's Facebook going off in the background, that was Brandon. You may remember him from episodes a while ago. Called out breaking news. I feel like I got fooled here. The breaking news was that The Undertaker is now on Instagram. Not sure on the breaking status of that news, but does seem slightly important. We've acknowledged it. Thank you very much. Though it is kind of funny to me that The Undertaker is on Instagram. I will give you that.
I will doubt that it's actually The Undertaker.
I don't know where it's been posted. I don't know where this news came from. I have not seen the Instagram page. But I will just laugh at it. If it is, it is. If it ain't, it ain't.
I don't care.
Pretty much. I don't use Instagram myself.
I have one. I don't use it.
So we'll crack back into SmackDown before we run out of time. We got to talk about the most important segment, Naomi Lana dance-off.
I did not see this. I used the segment for a shower break.
How could you shower break the most important segment?
Because it seemed like the least important.
Yeah, it is pretty least. It did potentially set up a 6-person tag next week. I don't know if it's official. 6-person mixed tag match. But we'll wait and see. I'm going to expect that's what it's set up. But you're right, it's just a dance-off. That important, sadly. Is there anything else about SmackDown you want to talk about before we talk about the big stuff? Sin Cara, Cien Almas, probably going to be a match next week.
Probably. No, just just going to say that Miz is my pick now.
I was joking about that.
I wasn't.
The whole time I said Miz. I was joking.
I said it was obvious.
I thought you were going with Joe. Side.
No, Miz is going to be the first pay-per-view era 2-time Money in the Bank winner.
Okay. If you're picking
and
the Miz,
then the internet is going to explode saying they just did that so that CM Punk wouldn't be the only 2-time winner anymore.
That sounds feasible.
Although, had Daniel Bryan made the match and done that, there would be crickets.
Of course.
Because they worship the ground he walks on.
And that's our weekly internet bashing. Let's talk about planned deals with companies and big money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. The TV deals that are signed beginning, I believe, in October of next year in the U.S. are monstrous deals.
Let's just talk about the per year, right?
Yeah.
$270 million for Raw per year. Add in SmackDown, $475 million a year. I would love to make that.
It's the Raw deal is 10 years, and the Fox deal for SmackDown Live is 5.
It's insane. I obviously living away from America, I couldn't care less what channel gets it. It's still gonna be on Sky the Box over here. We'll probably now we get our free to air multi television 1 hour versions, so hopefully that keeps going. But the money,
and there is possible in rumor and innuendo of the Big Four possibly being aired on broadcast television.
Like 18 years since that happened in New Zealand, I think.
Yeah, it's never occurred here in the U.S.
We have,
as far as that I can remember, that there's never been a major pay-per-view for WWE. I know that WCW used to run what was called the Clash of Champions, which were basically pay-per-view level cards that they ran for free to compete with whatever show WWE was doing at the time, to try to hurt their buy rates. But yeah, the idea would be to put the major 4 pay-per-views on cable where people could watch, where there could be like 3 to 5 million people watching them.
It's insane, these deals.
Yeah. And this has pretty much made sure that these deals have made sure that the network is not going to be the home of Raw and SmackDown, which was a very possible option for WWE.
Yeah.
Because the idea of cable television is beginning to falter.
I have heard about possible extra online streaming deals, possibly stunted, so like a couple weeks after, or non-live. I've heard chats with Facebook and a couple other companies. So I don't know what exactly the deals with Fox and NBC are, and whether they would include, like, 1 week exclusivity versus what we have now, where I think it goes on the network like a month after.
Yeah, right now with the current deal, it's 30 days. 30 days after the event airs is when it's added to the network, because that's how the deal is structured on the television side, because it was created before the network was ever thought of.
Yeah.
But if I'm Fox, I probably would stick with just 2 weeks. I'd give a 2-week exclusivity, then let it be on the network. Personally, I'd probably prefer next week.
Yeah, me too.
But I think for business purposes and stuff, it probably just makes more sense, and probably is easier, just to do every 2 weeks.
Well, what did Hulu get? It was a cut-down version.
Yeah, Hulu gets Raw the next day, but it is a 90-minute version of the 3-hour show. SmackDown is in its entirety, because it's when you take the commercials out to begin with.
Yeah.
It's a 90-minute show, pretty much.
I love that for Raw they produce a 3-hour show, cut it down to 90 minutes for Hulu, and then cut it down to 44 minutes for New Zealand multi-television. Just so many different versions of the same show.
Yeah.
But yeah, big money, and still developing.
And a lot of it's probably going to be used to fund the XFL.
I think you mean a lot of it's going to be used to give Brock Lesnar a brand new contract.
Well, that's a piece of the pie too. The XFL is definitely getting a lot of it.
Yeah. You give us a $40 million a year, we'll just spend $200 million of that on Brock Lesnar, right? To be fair, he was getting what, like $500,000 per appearance or something like that, as well as his actual contract.
Yeah, I think at the end of the year he makes like $10 million a year.
That's a big chunk. But we'll just cross our fingers that the whole Brock Lesnar thing ends soon, and then we don't need to pay him. And these people who are getting paid like peanuts and have to pay for their own travel and everything just get a little bit better, just a little bit. Right. Well, I think that's everything. Raw, SmackDown, Money in the Bank, massive deals. I think we're good for this week.
Bye.
If you want to visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling radio, Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling radio. I didn't say it was great talking to you. It was great talking to you. And we'll see you next week.